Hi everyone, it's Norm here. Wildfires are considered natural disasters that have the ability to travel through a landscape and whatever they touch changes. Now, if I was to tell you that some of what the wildfires can do have a real positive effect on the ecosystem, would you be surprised? So, natural cause forest fires caused by lightning have been part of this landscape for many years, longer than we've been around. On this episode, we're going to be learning about the positive effects of forest fire in the tall grass prairie natural area. Forest fire benefits the landscape in many different ways. So, one thing that it'll do is it pushes back encroachment of trees and shrubs and allows light to penetrate into the vast openings of prairies, essentially keeping them prairie. That light that's allowed in is great for growing native grasses and prairie wildflowers. Now, these prairie species have adapted over time in regards to there being forest fires coming through these areas up to every few years. So they have really deep root systems that sort of stay out of the reach of the flames of the fire. When a fire goes through, it helps to release nutrients back into the environment. It allows for grazers to come in and graze the area. And some species actually depend on forest fire to germinate. So this tree is a jack pine. Not really considered much of a prairie species, but it's commonly found in the tall grass prairie natural area. So you can see the unopened cones here. So the seeds are in there and they're covered really tightly with thick resin. And the only way that this resin can be opened is through the hot heat of forest fire. When that happens, they sort of pop open like popcorn, spreading their seed. So even this jack pine needs forest fire. For many decades, the idea of forest fires always had sort of a negative mindset. So we had something called fire suppression. And what fire suppression is and what it did is, more negatives than positives. It allowed plant litter to build up year after year, allowing trees to grow, then die, and then they add to that plant litter as well. And eventually, what it turns into is a giant tinderbox. Now, if we think about where we're sort of trying to suppress fires, a lot of it has to do with being near us, being near man-made structures, which makes a lot of sense. But when we let these forest fires be suppressed year upon year around these man-made structures, what happens is we have a big tinderbox just waiting to go up. So when a forest fire does start, the consequences can be really huge. So it's much better to allow small, more periodically, more often, fires to go through an area and burn through. That way we can more control these wildfires. The idea of using fire to benefit the landscape has been around for centuries, first used by local indigenous people. Now, current land management strategy includes something called prescribed burns. So these are man-made started fires that are used to mimic wildfires. So the benefits of the two different fires are the same, but the real pros as far as safety goes is we're able to more set the fire when we want the fire to be set during prescribed burns. So we need to make sure that weather conditions are ideal, and of course there's going to be a lot of patrolling done. There's going to make sure to be all sorts of equipment ready in case things do get out of control. And it is best to note that all of this prescribed burn idea is best left to the professionals. Fire, whether it's natural or prescribed, can be a valuable asset to the tallgrass prairie and the species that are found here. However, fire can be a bit of a contentious topic when we consider the damage that it has done to a property and even worst case scenario, the loss of life in the past. It's important for land managers to understand how and when to best use these practices. And if done safely, we should be able to enjoy the benefits that fire has on our tall grass prairie for years to come. Thanks everyone for watching this episode. If anyone has any questions or comments, please be in touch. So I'll see you on the next episode.